Hi, since May was my turn to do a demonstration project for everybody, I figured I'd try to do mine by video and email. So my project is little paper shoes. I did this a couple years ago and had quite a bit of fun with it. So I'm emailing out the patterns and copies of the shoes, but really you can download any shoes from the web that you want. What I've found is as long as I can get a side view, good side view of a shoe, and then I just rotate one side so you have a left and right side to put on your shoes. Other things that you'll need are, of course, your glue, some toothpicks, a couple of Q-tips, um, some cardboard. You can either do chipboard or mat board, just not corrugated cardboard, just because it doesn't work. It needs to be a pretty strong cardboard. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut out your patterns. What you have there is a sole and a heel. And I cut mine out of chipboard, as I have a lot of that. So mine is white on one side and brown on the other. It doesn't really matter. And then you're also going to need a piece of brown paper. It can be scrapbook paper like what mine is. It can be construction paper. And actually it really can be any other color, because that's just going to be the bottom of the sole before you put the heel on, just to cover up your shoe paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out my shoe patterns, which I already have. And what you're going to do is when you cut out your shoe pattern, on one of them, cut around the heel and the upper part of the shoe around the toe. And what that does is it gives a little edge to put the other side of the shoe on. And then the other side of the shoe, you can just cut around the pattern just like it is. So then what I'm going to do is I've got my heels and the bottoms of my shoe coverings all cut out. So I'm going to take one of my soles and I'm going to put some glue on the very bottom of my shoe. And it's really going paper against cardboard, so you don't need a lot because the cardboard is really good with sticking to the paper. And then you're going to take your sole and you want to line up the middle, your heel, with the middle of your sole. So I'm figuring the middle of my sole is right about there, and I want the top of my shoe to be white, so I want to make sure that I've got the right side facing upward. So I'm just going to press it against the edge, making it stick. And as you can see, it's right up against the very edge. But the nice thing about paper is paper sticks really good to other paper. And I'm going to go all the way along till I get to the front of the shoe, and then probably add a little bit more glue to both the sole and the paper shoe. And just kind of bring it around the top of the shoe, and then anything that overhangs, just kind of press it onto the sole. And then just give it a little nudge so it's heading more towards the middle of the shoe. What also helps is I take that overhang and I just make a few cuts in it just to make it easier for the paper to bend underneath. Okay, then what I'm going to do is take my second shoe side, and I'm going to put my glue on the very edge of that so I can attach it to my sole. And again, you don't need that much because you're attaching paper to paper. And then I also need to add some glue to my ledge that I cut out of the first one. And that makes it easier to attach so that you have an overhang. So I'm just going to line up the back of my shoe. And I see where I didn't quite cut out all of it. So I'm just going to make sure I don't have any white paper or whatever you've copied it onto. Again, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the first side. Just following the shoe and the sole all the way around till I get to the front. And just kind of gently pressing it into place, turning it. And that's a nice thing about wet paper, is it will give. And I just kind of move the tip around so that I know it's covering. Okay, so you have your two sides. And I just trim anything that's not matching up. All right, and now I'm going to put some glue on the front overhang. And then gently press it down. You can use a toothpick to kind of press it underneath there to get it to go over. What I find is the flat shoes work really well, the pictures, if you can get them, so that you have a really good picture of the side of the shoe. So I'm pressing that down to kind of get it to curve over, and then using the toothpick and my finger. If it squishes down, just bring it back up. And then just bring the other side over so you can line them up. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work. And then what I use the Q-tips for is just to get underneath so I can press it without squishing the shoe. If it starts to come apart, just add a little bit more glue like we always do. And just play with it with your toothpick or your finger. And again, you can put the Q-tip inside to give you some support. And use a toothpick also as a support so that you have a shoe shape. Now you see I have a little bit of an overhang here. I didn't quite cut it out. Well, I'm just going to take my scissors and follow my pattern till I have something that's shoe appearing. Didn't quite cut this out along the line, so I try to cut out the exact profile of this shoe, but it's hard when you're printing them up because sometimes you'll get the inside of the shoe, so I try to get rid of that so it looks more like the outside of the shoe. So there is your shoe. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the bottom of that. So I have my brown paper, and I'm going to add some glue to my brown paper. And I'm going to press it against my sole and line it up. Get all this extra glue off of there. And then I'm going to take my heel that I cut out of cardboard, and shoes on most heels are brown, so I'm going to put it with the brown side down. And again, put some glue on there. Now I don't have these soles cut out with right and left. They're just kind of a single shoe, for lack of a better word. So, but I mean, you can tweak the pattern and make it so that you have more of a right and left. Now I know I have a little piece to cut there. Just to kind of follow it. Tweezers and grab that little piece. Doesn't seem to want to come out. There we go. So there is my shoe with my sole. And then I had made another one previously, except that the sole came out opposite. So there is my two shoes. So I hope you have fun with these.